Listen, I am so sorry. I could not get my camera to work. So we're going to old school on a laptop camera. Y'all doing all right? How was your holidays? Everybody have a good holiday? Everybody have a good holiday? Still don't see any comments coming through. Having technical difficulties today for the live stream. No, we got 37 people on 38. I still don't see any comments coming through though. There we go. Roger, looks great. Well, thank you. Thank you. YouTube. Sorry, I couldn't get this going. I have two cameras, and neither one of them I could get going as webcams. And I think it's because I took a bunch of pictures for Christmas. And so I changed settings and was doing some stuff to be able to drop the pictures into my cell phone. I think I got a bunch of settings wrong. Hey, happy holidays from St. Michael, Minnesota. Love the channel. Well, thank you, my friend. I love you. I bet I would love you if I met you. I bet I would. All right, hold on. I got to change one more thing, and then I will be all yours. All right. Hey, Steve Zeidman. How goes it? It goes pretty good, Steve. I couldn't get my cameras to work though on my big computer. So, 150,000. Congrats, man. I hit 150? Did I? If I did, I didn't know it. 150,000. Wow. Thanks, D1N02. I didn't even notice that. Wow. You're the best. Thank you for bringing that up. Ooh, wicked cold in Wisconsin. I'm so sorry. Wish it wasn't wicked cold for you. It actually got cold down here, and then it kind of warmed up. Steve Zeidman says, awesome. Ed G says, touchdown. Are you watching? Is Minnesota playing? Or is that touchdown for me? As far as like getting 150,000 subs. Congratulations. Thank you, Fabian. 150 all the way. I cannot believe that we hit 150. That's bananas. I thought maybe it might happen by the end of the month, but that's crazy. Hey, hit the like button, everybody. I didn't tease this for long enough, so we don't have a ton of people in here. Only 144 people. Congratulations. Awesome. All right. What's your goal for 2023 in terms of subs? Oh, Larry, I don't know, man. Like subscribers is kind of interesting from a YouTube perspective. Like subs, it doesn't really matter because it's kind of more of a bragging than anything else. Although YouTube gives out their awards based on subs, but really it's more like, holy cow, really it's more of a bragging right than anything else. Subscribers are. So I don't really have a goal as far as subs next year because I can't really control that. What I can control is views though. And so I'd like to have, I don't know, north of 1.3 million views a month. That's where I'd be comfortable. Last month and this month have been bananas. Like last month was like 1.7 million. Scott Pledger, $150. Man, wow. That's amazing. $150 for 150,000 subs. That's great. Scott, thank you so much, man. That was extremely generous of you. Hey, Brock Gerling, you've been MIA, brother. A big win with 150. Congrats, my friend. Thank you, Brock. I really appreciate it. Billy Winsock, my boy, all the way from the UK, 150K, about 149 more than you thought you would get when you started. Isn't that the truth? For sure. Parth Parth Sane. Love your content. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mike S. Congrats. Thank you, my friend. Ooh, best DAC synergy you have tried with. Oh, Piety. Okay. I didn't try a bunch of them, but what I did try was the Geshelli Labs J2, the Sabre version, the latest Sabre version. I think it's the 9028 Q2M, something like that. Anyway, it sounded great with it. The Piety is a little bit rich, warm, so you can get away with a more analytical DAC with that. But I also think the J2 AKM version would be great. Topping E50 would probably be great. Skit Modi probably be awesome too, for sure. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Hi from the U.S. You will pass 200K in 23. I hope so. Last couple of months, we've been having crazy subs too. I think over 11,000 maybe in December, and I think around 10,000 in November. So I could potentially hit 200. I don't know, middle part of next year, maybe, if it keeps going. But probably going to slow down a bit, especially after the holidays. Rainy's the reason I now have my dream system. Wow. I don't know how to say the last part. Shikata. Okay, very cool. Well, I'm glad I could help. Tommy says, push the like button. Sergeant Sully, dang, feels like you just hit 100K a week ago. Congrats and well deserved, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy ride. 150, man, that's crazy. I kind of had my eye on that, but I kind of, holidays have been crazy, so I haven't been keeping an eye on it very closely. Wow. I was watching on Facebook, but the comments seem to be coming in from YouTube. Yeah, could be. I've never really streamed from Facebook before, so I just wanted to try it. I actually worked out all of the details when I was down in Corpus Christi with Skit, and they wanted me to stream from their Facebook. And so I got that all hooked up. So I was like, let's see what it's like. I don't really have a big Facebook following. Ben Gleason, in your Skit video, you said that you did not get KLH Model 5 until you heard them with the Vidar. Would you expand on that? Yeah, I didn't think the KLH were a good match to the other amps I tried. One was the Macintosh 7270, which is a beast. I think that was a little bit too much amp for that speaker. And then what else did I try? Oh, I also tried the Buchard, their high-end integrated amp. I'm wondering if I still have that. I don't know if I still have that around the house or not. I'll have to check. Someone is saying I have something on my neck. Or if that's it right there. Yeah, I think I'm all right. Anyway, Ben, that's about as far as I can go on expanding on it. I just thought the Vidar was the best combo, at least the best combo that I had. VetTech Audio, thank you for introducing me to Skit. The Freya Plus is so awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you think it's awesome. Randy's probably the best spokesman for the Sony SSCS5 speakers. I bought 2 sets after his review. I love that speaker. However, they're getting a bit expensive. So, yeah. It's not as high up on my recommendation as it used to be because the price has gone up. Big B Groovin, $1.50. Thank you so much, B Groovin. Billy, my boy, got to spend some time listening to all my all-time greats today at my dealer for a chat update. And he asked if I wanted to listen to the Avant-Garde Duos Bliss. Very nice. Billy, I'm glad to see you, man. I've been thinking about you. We had a heck of a time on the holiday gift exchange. I missed you, buddy. Mike, joining late, subscribed a while back, but joined the Patreon recently as a way to say thanks for all the great content. Encourage others to do the same. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, our Patreon, pretty legit. And it's because of you. It's not because of me. It's because of all the patrons. It's a great, great community. And thank you. Parth, my question. My wife loves music, but she is not an audiophile. She wants music to be around the room, not on a headphone. She keeps moving around the house. Recommendations. I hate her cheap Sony Bluetooth speaker. Well, you could do, if she wants something that's really convenient, you could do some powered speakers around, or you could just set up multiple little systems with smaller speakers. And then you get like a Weem Mini, and then you could do whole home distributed audio through the Weem Mini. You could also do that with some Amazon devices. And if she doesn't care about fidelity at all, you could use I can't remember what they're called. They're little pucks. I don't know, Amazon, not a link. Anyway, it's the one that you say Alexa, but I don't want to say it too loud. You get those and then 3.5 millimeter out of that into some powered speakers or into a small setup. The DAC internal, though, is not very good. Not very good at all. At all. Ooh, what's my favorite Metallica album? It would probably be Master of Puppets. I think that front to back, that's the best metal album of all time. And I'm not the only person that thinks that, but that's a record that I can listen to in its entirety without wanting to ever change it. I think the Black Album is probably a close second, but Master of Puppets is a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. Some would say that it's actually the epitome of Metallica. Echo. That's right, Steve. Thank you. Echo. That's it. Can you upgrade the op amps on the A08 Pro like you did the A07? Yes, but A08 Pro. Oh, I don't know about the A08 Pro. I know that the original A08 you could. They have 3 op amps in the original A08. So, I don't know. Let me see. If I had a screwdriver handy, we would get into it. They're hex. I need a little Allen wrench to pull that out. I don't know if they are. This one doesn't look like it's as easy to get into as the A07. Could be, though. Could be. The A07 for sure, you just pulled it off. Jamie, do I still use cassettes? No, but I have some. I don't listen to them. They're more just for kind of like fun to have on the shelf. I have to get back into them. I do have a cassette deck sent to me by one of my patrons and friends. Chad, do you think the Base X A2M will be enough power for ELAC UB52s at near field distance? I think so. Yeah, I think so. You've got to really like burn those in though for a while. You got to give them a while to get to know. That's a speaker. When I first got it, I was really underwhelmed, and then I just got to know it a little bit more. And then one day, it was all of a sudden like the top end came in, the bottom end came in. I was like, "Ooh, hello." VetTech Audio loves cassettes. I need to get my cassette deck running. Oh my goodness, we have another huge super chat from a huge supporter of the channel and personal friend. Ed G, suggestion for 2023. Videos on music we should try. Perhaps suggestions from the patrons as well as yourself. Could be by genre or even different version of albums or songs we should consider. Great year to be a Cam fan. 2023 will be even better. You know what, Ed? I appreciate. We're going to change Cam fan to Cam fam. We're a family. Part of the Cam fam. I appreciate you, Ed, so much. Ed has always helped out when we do trips to Axpona, Capital Audio Fest. Ed does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to logistics and things like that. Ed is a big part of our community, and I appreciate you, Ed. Hopefully, you're have some time off and you're having some fun with the family. My goodness, Randy Meinholt, $9.99. Thank you so much, my friend. You got a good name. I got the Wii Mini based on your review. I love it. However, it really opened up my eyes to the differences between Bluetooth versus AirPlay versus internal DAC. So I just ordered a Shelly DAC. Yes, everything you said is a huge, like, here's the thing about the Wii Mini. If people are looking to get a Bluetooth receiver for their system, like, you can get a Wii Mini. And then if you're an Apple user, you can AirPlay. And then you also have an entire streaming platform for cheaper than what most Bluetooth receivers that are decent will be. Much cheaper than an AirPlay 2 device. So yeah, Wii Mini is crazy. That's why it was product of the year. And the Wii Pro too. If you have a little bit extra dough, you can get the Wii Pro. Ola from Chicago picked up the Yamaha AS301 and the Weem based on your reviews. They sound great. Thank you. Dan, that's a heck of a system. Because that whole system all in is probably around $420 to have an integrated amp with variable loudness, have an internal DAC, have a streamer, AirPlay 2, phono preamp if you ever want to add a turntable. That's a really great system. Really good remote too. Really good remote. Should I spend money updating a Carver TFM 45 or buy a new amp? I don't know. I mean, I know Carver, like, everybody loves Carver. I think that's a very good amp. So it depends. I guess you kind of do the pro con thing, right? What's your budget? And then how much would it cost to upgrade your Carver? How much would it cost to get a new amp? And I would imagine that probably updating the Carver is going to be cheaper, but I don't know that amp. So I don't know it at all. So I couldn't tell you exactly which way I would lean. And it depends too on what speakers you're driving and if you need more power than the Carver's putting out, etc., etc. So I know that's kind of a non-answer, but it depends on you, depends on the power you need, depends on what your budget is. So yeah. Victor Petrov, thank you so much for the super chat. Got the J2 here in Sofia, Bulgaria, all the way from Jashelli family. Was not cheap to get here, but I am happy to support them. Great DAC too. Thanks for all the good work you do, Randy. Thank you, Victor. Mr. Petrov. It's a solid name. Victor Petrov. Sounds like a character from a movie. Victor Petrov. Got the Duke ST01/IEMA T9. Arrived today. Plugged old Apple TV into optical for AirPlay. Works well. Millard tubes ordered. All your fault. I apologize. But that's not like, you're not into this thing for $1,000 or even 500. A set of decent tubes on the T9, you're still probably under $200 for all that. With a DAC, sounds good. Tone controls. I guess you could call it a remote. There is a remote, kind of. So yeah. Oh boy, Brandon got a pair of LS50s for $550 based on your recommendations. Should I resell them for something with better value? If you love them, that's a heck of a price on the LS50s. I think I paid $800 or $900 for my LS50s when I got them a couple of years ago. Just listen, man. $550 for the LS50s is a great value. It's only a great value, though, if you like the sound signature. If you don't, resell them. If you do, keep them. That's a heck of a deal. It's like 33% off when they were new. Thereabouts. Does the AIYA DO3 match with the ELAC UB52? I would get something with a little bit more juice. I think the DO3 could do an okay job driving them, but I would feel more comfortable with more power. And you could probably get that from something like the A08 Pro, because it comes with a beefier power supply, and it's the Texas Instruments chips, which put out more power. They're both Texas Instruments, but what is it? 3255? I think 3255 puts out more than what's in the DO3. Hola from Mexico. I'm between buying a T9 or T5. Which is your recommendation? I don't think I've reviewed the T5, so I don't know that one. I can put my name on the T9. I think it's good, especially if it's a newer one that doesn't do the auto off as much. So T9 I think is great, but T5, unfortunately, I just don't have any experience with. I don't think. William Zimmerman, $15. Thanks for all the insights and the laughs. 0.00. How many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3 per subscriber. Wow. Thank you, William. I like how everyone's doing like the the 1.5s. $1.50, $150, $15. That's really cool. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, William. Leonard Coy Nerd. $4.99. Thank you. Are there any benefits to the Weem Pro over the Mini other than the ability to connect it to the Ethernet? Yes. So you have an extra RCA input, which you kind of have. You don't have RCA. You have a 3.5 millimeter in the Weem. Better DAC, much better DAC. You already talked about hardwiring, so yeah. So it depends on what you want. So you get a better DAC, you get more inputs, you get an optical input as well. So you could, like, the Weem Pro is almost a proper digital preamp. But if you don't need any of that, then the Weem Mini is the way to go, especially if you're going to run it into an external DAC. If you are just going to use the Weem as a DAC, well, then it needs to be the Weem Pro. So it's got a way better DAC, I think, the Pro does. What do you think of Apple AirPlay 1 and 2? I think they're very convenient. I've had sometimes issues with stuff just periodically dropping off, but I use AirPlay a lot. I use it on the Weem Pro, actually. So I'll watch a video on my laptop, and I will AirPlay the audio into the Pro, and then whatever headphone rig I'm listening to, I'll listen to the laptop audio through the Weem via AirPlay. So I think there's a lot of convenience features there. And again, it's cheaper than most AirPlay receivers on its own. So, and you get so much extra. Jim Swenson, $7. Hope you had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. We did. We had a very crazy Christmas. I have little ones here. And so we have all the magic of Christmas going on, which I'm responsible for. We have the elf on the shelf flying around. The kids had a great Christmas, though. But it gets a little bit tiring because, well, you have a bunch of kids. They go crazy, of course. They're up. I'm up late. So, and then they're home too. So it's difficult to do what I do with the kids home all the time because I don't get a lot of alone time to make videos and stuff. But I couldn't be more blessed to be able to do this for a living. So great Christmas. I'm a bit tired though. And I haven't put out as much content as I would generally normally do and what I would like to. Oh, where did I get that license plate sign? My wife gave that to me a while ago. Um, she had it made. I think there's some website or app where people kind of sell like art stuff. It's very popular. I can't remember what it is. Very popular app. Anyway, she had it made through one of those artists that's on there. So yeah, cheap audio magic. Will I be going to CES? Probably not. Also, do you think we'll see more integrated amps with HDMI ARC built in at CES? I hope so. And more importantly, I hope Etsy. That's it. I hope that they come down in price because it seems like somebody slaps an HDMI ARC onto an integrated and then just charges $900. I've been daily driving the hold on, I just got a text. Let me respond to this. So I've been daily driving the SVS Soundbase Pro. That one goes to nothing. My PayPal is Randy. Let me see if I spelled that right. Anyway, the SVS Pro is really good, but it's still like $700. Christmas aged this man. Yeah, for sure. For sure. He's not allowed into Vegas anymore. Yeah, probably true. Now, CES isn't like, I don't think there's enough audio stuff there. Plus, I'm going to the Florida audio show in February. And then I'm going to more shows next year. And I think CES would like be a bit too much because when I go on trips, I get really tired too. And then I come back. So yeah. Randy, new hairstylist. No, we have a new camera angle. And then I haven't gotten a haircut for a while. So that's why you're seeing the crazy hair. Love the Schkitt interview. Are you going to review the Lear Plus? Maybe. Hey, from Argentina, best amp for ELAC Unified 2.0, going for separates with Gisele J2. Ooh, Argentina. I don't think you can probably go wrong going for separates. Okay. If you can get Emotiva down there, I think like the PT1, PT2 with the A1 monoblocks is a killer combo. And like just ample amounts of power. That's kind of like my reference right now. Although I don't have the PT2 anymore. I think I sent that back. I have the A1 monoblocks though. And that's really become my reference. Nuts amount of power. $900 all in for a pair of the A1s. And then your preamp. I run this is an Akatika homegrown preamp that I put together. It's a kit. I really like it, but it's not for the faint of heart. Like if you haven't soldered a lot, it can be a bit intimidating. Do you offer help through video chat of any kind? $2. Thank you, Forbidden Q. I have done that in the past for patrons. And there's a patron tier level that if you're on it, then I'll do a couple of video chats with you after a couple of months. But if you really want to do something, you can reach out to me through my email, cheapaudioman@gmail.com. And we could maybe get something going. probably the easiest, probably the cheapest way is just to sign up for my Patreon and then get into one of my Sunday night Zooms and just ask me. Because I mean, you can do that for $5. Um, and I don't want to charge a bunch to video chat, but my time is super limited, and I hate to say that, but it is. So it would just be way cheaper to do it through Patreon. Aman, €5. Thank you so much. I am planning to get ELAC debut to 6.2 and Yamaha AS501. I have a Mojo 2 as a source from iPad, Apple Music. I have a Mojo 2 Plus Hyphaman EXS Wing Mini later. Very cool. That sounds like a great setup. I think I've heard great things about the Mojo 2 as far as a DAC and how it sounds. So it sounds like a crazy, awesome setup. Very cool. Hyphaman Edition XS. Crazy. Do a best powered speaker for a simple turntable to speaker setup. Oh, best powered speaker for simple turntable. I don't know, the ELAC powered, that was really good. Super small though. I mean, the thing about like powered speakers are you can get so much more if you just buy a small desktop amp, phono preamp, and then a pair of speakers like the Sonys or the ELAC BS41s. You get so much more for a lot less money, and it sounds better, in my opinion. I'd look at the AO7. There is a, what is that? It's a Fozzy Audio little tube phono preamp for about $60. So AO7 is about 60, 70, so that's 130. And then a pair of, I don't know, Sonys if they're on sale. So that would be another 125, so 130, 230, so 265. So about half of what you would spend on a decent powered speaker. Fabian, great channel. Thanks for that. Thank you. Ed, using Sith Audio styrofoam vibration dampeners on my B1 Plus speakers. Smart. Included free with all assembly required furniture. Great value. That's awesome. Now that's cheap audio, man, right there. Q Acoustics M20. Very good, but expensive. Expensive. Chris Studebaker, $5. Thanks for all your hard work and great advice. Loved the review of Neil's MLTL. Hope to see more from Mr. Blanchard. Yeah, he's super talented, and I cannot wait to see what he comes out with next. So, yeah. How about a turntable new beginner's guide? I think I kind of did something like that, but it wasn't like completely turntable related. That's a really great idea, though. I think I'll do that. Here, I'm gonna write that down. Type it down. I keep an ongoing note. Like it's ridiculous. Like how big this. So this is my ongoing show ideas and stuff like that. Turntable for beginners. Turntable for beginners. I like it. That's a great idea. Philip, thank you. Thank you. Jeff Locke. Grats, Randy. Any suggestion for a DAC to match Pioneer Elite SC67 Class D receiver to warm it up a bit? Well, I think the Geshelli Labs J2 AKM would be a great combo with that. Topping E50 is also a very warm, lush, natural sounding DAC. You could have a decent DAC in that Pioneer already, though, because most of those receivers have a warm-ish sounding DAC, like a Wolfson or a it's the one that iFi uses all the time. Anyway, I really like that DAC. I can't think of the chipset right now. I got distracted by something. What is that? DAC chip. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Texas Instruments owns it now. Burr Brown. So check and see what kind of DAC is already in your receiver. And yep, Burr Brown. Check what kind of DAC is in there. And if it's a Burr Brown or a Wolfson, chances are it's probably already warmish sounding. So yeah, here's a good question. Good DAC for a Rotel A11. It's going to be the same. A11 is a little bit analytical with its sound. There is bass boost and loudness kind of settings. They may go by a different name. But I would again look at the J2 AKM, E50 topping E50, iFi, pretty good. So I'd look at those. I think it'll balance out the sound signature a bit. If you want like super analytical, you could go for something like the SMSL SU9N, something like that. But I personally think that a little bit more robust DAC, especially on the bottom end, J2 AKM, would be great. Marcus Babo, 5. What is that? I'm getting all these mixed up. It's not a euro. Is that pounds? No, that is euros. I must have said 5 euros earlier and it was pounds. Anyway, thank you, Marcus, very much. Hey, Randy, any artists you've gotten into recently? So I've been reading this book called The History of Heavy Metal. And there's a lot of not like mainstream bands that influenced metal. So I've been listening to them a lot. And then I've been listening to like, they called it the British Invasion with like, it wasn't really heavy metal. It was more hard rock. So like Judas Priest, Motorhead. I've been listening to a lot of that stuff. And then the Melvins, really heavy. I think some people would call them grunge, but it's like the heaviest grunge out there. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of that type of stuff lately. Question, my receiver is set to 6 ohms. I have a 4 ohm front main speaker. I just got an SVS Ultra Center. Can I run my receiver in this setting or should I change it to 8 ohms? Yeah, just run it in 6. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. Or just try it both ways and see if, but no, you'll be fine. I think SVS, pretty sure that's an 8 ohm center channel. Dio for days. Yes, very good. New Dio doc is a must watch. My dad used to talk about the British invasion and how his dad would talk about how the commies are taking over. That's funny. Well, I think the British invasion usually, I think, like refers to like the Beatles and Rolling Stones and stuff like that. But there was a British kind of hard rock invasion where it was Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Judas Priest, a lot of the bands coming out of the same area that Black Sabbath came out of. And then it kind of stopped, and then punk happened, and then like heavy metal refused to die, and they just kept kind of coming back. And then like thrash metal kind of branched off a bit from that in the early 80s in LA and really the San Francisco area when Metallica moved up to San Francisco, Exodus, Metallica, and there's some other thrash bands. And then you had they sang I'm the Man. I cannot think today. They were on the East Coast. Anthrax. So anyway, it's been really interesting. British heavy metal. Now I can relive my youth. Happy days. Yes, Billy. It all started with Black Sabbath, though. Like everything before Black Sabbath was what was called like pre-metal or proto-metal. I mean, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix were kind of precursors to metal, but like the first real metal record, and I agree with this, and the author said this, was Black Sabbath. That's when metal was born, Black Sabbath. It was influenced heavily by bands before it, but none of those bands were really metal. Sabbath was metal. Iron Maiden, yep. Iron Maiden I would consider to be hard rock, though. But it's semantics, right? They're all great. Hey, Randy, happy holiday from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you. All the way down under. Megadeth. Yeah, I have a problem with Megadeth. One, Dave Mustaine. I don't like his vocals. And he's a jerk. He's a big jerk. But they're like some of the riffs, Megadeth riffs, are great. But like I don't love the vocals. It's got that kind of previous hard rock vocals with it's almost too good. So yeah. I'm not a big fan of Megadeth. There's some riffs though that Megadeth has that are really, really, really good. I don't like the vocals though. Checking in from the Outer Rim, Texas. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you. $20. R3DFIV3. Thank you, my friend. Hope you had a great holiday too. Maiden were proper metal. Saw them a few times when they were still a pub band. All right, I'll take Billy's word for it. I trust Billy. Billy saw so many acts in the UK. Slayer, definitely metal. Slayer was definitely metal. So it's like Slayer, Metallica, they call them the Big Four, and then Megadeth. I'm not a big Megadeth fan. And then Metallica, of course. Blink 182 is played on classic rock stations now. Crime Against Humanity, man. No, I get it. Like, I remember when I was listening to classic rock and they played not Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses. And I was like, ooh, turns out I am old now. Steppenwolf, yes, proto metal. Even though they used the term heavy metal thunder, still proto metal, prior to metal. But that's an interesting, Steppenwolf is an interesting kind of part of heavy metal because they were the first band to use heavy metal. So it was coined as a kind of an insult about music. It was coined by, there was a music, what do you call it? Journalist or whatever. And he threw around the term heavy metal. So I think that was the first time it was applied to a band. And then Steppenwolf used it, Born to Be Wild. Fabian K. Me again. Klipsch RP600M1 for $429. No brainer, right? Which amp with Phonostage and or without include DAC would you recommend? Okay. The problem with the RP600M is it's really forward around 2000 hertz. And so I would want something that brings that down a bit. Most amps, though, their tone controls are not anywhere near 2000 hertz. So you couldn't really tame it with tone controls. I would look at something with a little bit more warmth, personality. I think you can get away with the Emotiva stuff. I don't know if you can get it where you're at, though. I'm trying to think of a warm, Cambridge Audio AXA35. I think would be a great combo. I don't think there's a DAC in that though. Here's the thing about Cambridge Audio though. Like the AXA 25 and 35 have a definite warmth, really lush sound. And then the more expensive Cambridge stuff doesn't have that same sound. So I wouldn't like spend more. Since the Klipsch are somewhat efficient, I think you could get away with the AXA 35, but you're going to have to add a DAC to it. I would look at the Topping E50 if you're in Europe. That's what I would do. Topping E50 was $200 on sale. AXA 35, I think it was $350. So that's what I would do. That would be kind of my setup if I was getting the Klipsch. And I think the Gen 1 is better than the Gen 2, for sure. Just got an iFi Zenfono. I have the gain setting on moving magnet, but red moving coil high can work well even though I have a moving magnet cartridge. Why would this work? You get more gain. So moving coil needs much more gain. I think something along the lines of 70 dB, 68 dB, versus moving magnet, which is usually like 42 dB, 38 to like 46. So you're not going to hurt anything. You're just adding more gain into your amplifier. So just try it. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. It's going to depend on your cartridge and stuff, but you're not really like getting anything extra. You're just getting more gain out of it. So, but yeah, you got the option. You're not going to hurt. I don't think you're going to hurt anything. So just, turn down the volume on your amp before you just pop it into moving coil, because it's going to be louder. It's going to be louder. Hawkwind were similar, more Hendrix than metal, but they were very influential. Of course, Lemmy, did his apprenticeship with them. Yeah, Billy, I think you get a kick out of that book. It's not really, really, really well written, and he repeats himself a lot, but I think this is kind of he published it himself type of book. But if you are interested in music, especially metal at all, it is very interesting. And it's been a really fun read. But he gets off into the weeds with like death metal and black metal and stuff like that. The type of music that I don't particularly love. But it's an interesting read for sure. Randy, do you like the Wing Pro DAC, or would you rather go the E50? I think the E50 is a much better DAC than what you're getting in the Wing Pro. The Wing Pro DAC is passable. It's much better than the Wing Mini. So yeah, but I think the E50 is way better. What's my opinion on Local H? I've seen them in concert. They opened for Metallica in 2016. They were like the opener, and then Avenged Sevenfold followed Local H, and then it was Metallica. They're good. They weren't super popular. They've got that one song that kind of was in regular rotation in the 90s. They were really loud though. But outside of them popping up occasionally on, like, when I have random set on my music, I don't really seek out Local H, but I've seen them. They're good. Mus Adam, happy holidays from Malaysia. Thank you. Happy holidays to you. Give Sludge and Atmo Prague. Are you referring to the History of Heavy Metal by Eddie Trunk, or perhaps something by Sam Hunt? I think it's the one, History of Heavy Metal by Eddie Trunk. Let me see. I had to order it off of eBay because it's out of print. History of Heavy Metal. He's a stand-up comedian, and he used to do no, it's a book by Andrew O'Neill, History of Heavy Metal. Yeah, book by Andrew O'Neill. Yeah, 2017 is when it came out. So yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, he's a stand-up comedian, and he used to do an act where he'd do the history of heavy metal, and then he wrote it all down, and then started, did a deep dive in the book. OMG, Local H player in the High Festival in 97. Wow, I feel old. Yeah, but listen, man, we're all old, but we're cool. We're cool old, because we're like Gen X old. Gen X old is cool old, if that makes sense. Murder in the Front Row is a nice book as well, but it's mostly pictures, so more in tune to my IQ. I have to check that one out. I've been enjoying making mixtapes again with my Kenwood dual cassette. Man, talk about nostalgic. That's awesome. What's my go-to headphone? I like the Edition XS from HiFiMan. I also like the new Meze 109 Pro and the KOS KPH something. So yeah. Yeah. Closebacks. I don't really listen to closebacks a lot. I'll listen to like IEMs, and those Those are the Soundcore Liberty 4s, which is what I've been listening to. They're not great. They're not like super hi-fi, but they're convenient, and I can get them to sound pretty good. Hey, Randy, is it possible to put a vinyl wrap over the, I assume, vinyl on speakers? I like to put a lighter color on some clips, but didn't know if I could be done or am I heading for a mess? Okay. Can it be done? Yes. I have tried to do a vinyl wrap on bookshelf speakers before, but this is over MDF. The problem with vinyl wraps are the seams, because unless you get it just right, that seam is obvious. If you're only wrapping the top, sides, and bottom, I think you maybe could get away with it if you get the seams just right and then put the final seam on the bottom and get it really nice and tight. The problem is if you want to do a vinyl wrap on the baffle, which I probably wouldn't recommend, then you're going to see seams all over the place. So, can it be done? Yes. Is it going to be easy? No. I've tried it multiple times on bookshelves, and I can never get it right. I just went back to veneering. That could be something you could do too, because you could veneer it, and then you can seal over the veneer with a whole bunch of poly, like the edges. And you can get the edges pretty clean anyway, especially if you have like a flush mount bit. And then that would look the best, but it's also going to be more expensive. You have to use a heat gun. There you go, to really push in the seams in tight. Okay, yeah. It was like self-stick vinyl, and it was a mess. Hello from Paris. Hello to you. Paris, Texas? Paris, France. Cheap Audio Man's custom vinyl. You wouldn't want me to do it. I cannot get speakers to look good. I got a couple of speakers to look decent with veneer, but it was a lot of poly. Like, that's the key with veneer. Get it the color you want, stain it, and then put like 10 coats of poly over it. Just do one coat, let it dry, do another coat, let it dry. That's what I did. I'll just have speakers in the dining room for a week, and every time I got a chance, I would just go put another coat of poly on it, turn it, put another coat, turn it, and just kept doing that over and over, and all of a sudden it sealed over the edges, and it was great. What do you think of the SMSL SA0200 to pair with the ELAC Unified 2.0 with separate stack? I had the AO200. I don't know if I had the SA0200. Again, the ELAC's like AB power. You can get sound to come out of them with Class D. But like, I would want to go with something really beefy if I was going to Class D. Something like an AO7 with a beefed up power supply. Maybe the what is it? It's the just had it down. Oh, the Crown Drive Core. But then if I'm using the Crown Drive Core, I'd probably want to put an EQ on the front end to warm it up a little bit. Inspired me to buy a pair. It's for my first surround sound system using a Yamaha RX VF4A to run the system. Yeah. I look at the Drive Core, and then I don't know that Yamaha. If it has an EQ, then you could definitely warm up the Drive Core. Oh, I think I mixed these up. All right, somebody was okay. Yeah, I got these two mixed up. Yeah. So I don't know if the SAO 200 is going to drive them. To be fair, I haven't had that one. I've only had the AO 200. That was an Infineon chip, and I don't think it would like push the UB52s as far as they need to be pushed. Your review of the Klipsch RP400M inspired me to buy a pair. It's for my first surround. Yeah, those are fun little speakers. Fun little speakers. Thank you. And thank you so much for the super chat. There are videos on how to bleach veneer furniture. That's cool. I'd just enjoy like watching woodworking videos. It's very soothing to me for some reason. Yeah. My dad's family lived in and around Paris, Texas. DePort and Powderly. Love that area. I haven't been up there for a long time. I bought an SMSL DA9 to power my LS50 Metas while I decided on a bigger amp. Got the Cambridge CXA81, and the sound quality difference between those was massive. That's cool. I like the DA9. You should do comparisons between good AB amps and the newer Purify and Hypex Class D amps. That would be amazing. I haven't met a Purify or Hypex module that I liked. They all sounded super thin. Now, to be fair, I haven't tried the latest and greatest ones. All the ones were in, I believe it was the NAD stuff. Although I think the Bucard has a Hypex or a Purify. Bucard amp sounds really warm. I think the front end or whatever they did in there was really different. Really, I've heard a lot of hype around the Buckeye amps. I don't like them. I think they sound thin and sterile. The ones that I've heard. I haven't heard maybe the ones you're talking about. I just don't. Class D for me, outside of like the IEMA A07, just doesn't do anything for me. And here's the thing, like, I don't hear a significant difference between like the NAD stuff and the Crown Drive Core, which is way more power, and you can do high pass filtering and stuff like that. So it could be me though. I just might not be able to hear the subtleties of why the Hypex and Purify is better. Here's the thing though, and this is a conspiracy theory that I've been floating, or I like to believe in my mind. Like Class D is just because it's cheaper and lighter. Like that's why Class D exists. Yeah, we can say it's more efficient or whatever, but nobody really cares about how much power it's using from a manufacturing standpoint. It's cheaper. You can bring in whole modules that are already made and then just drop them into the amp chassis. So I'm still not convinced that Class D has anything to do with anything other than cost saving and weight saving, which is, again, cost savings. So I have heard Class Ds that I like and sound good, but for my money, I would almost always choose a Class AB. Class D is cool if you're going ultra cheap, because there is some good Class Ds out there. If I'm spending $1,000 on an integrated amp, though, it is not going to be a Class D unless something new has come out that's absolutely going to like blow me away. So yeah. Class G. Yes, I have heard of Class G. AXA 25 and 35 are Class D. No, they're not. They have a toroidal transformer in them. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying. AXA 25. Almost 100% positive that it is not. It's not Class D. Tech specs. Power output frequency. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the 35 has a big old toroidal transformer in it, and the 25 has a smaller toroidal transformer in it. Yep, agree. That was my hang up with peach trees stuff. Can't justify 1,500 for a Class D. Yeah. What do I think of the SMSL SA400 to pair with the Unified 2.0? A lot of 2.0 questions. Oh, SAO200 was a type error. Is it cheaper to ship to Argentina? Weight matter. Yes. Trying to remember. I think I have listened to the SA400, and I think it was great. It was just expensive for what it was. Movie Junkie John, $4.99. Thank you so much. Got Denon AVR S660H. Hope it sounds great once cables are in. How much stock do you put in matching amp power speaker? Amp power speaker power. Is it hogwash? I don't know. I mean, I think the sound of the amp is much more important than how much power it puts out. And then you have to consider the efficiency of the speakers. I've heard 20-watt amps that sound way better than 100-watt amps. But you got to have a speaker that has the efficiency to be able to be allowed to get to their fullest, even though you don't have a ton of power. So I don't necessarily put a whole lot of stock into like matching power ratings for an amp to a speaker unless the speaker is like super low efficiency. Then I would want, more power. But in my experience, some low powered amps do just great on speakers that have 87. There's a rule of thumbs. Like you can kind of like, okay, well, maybe this amp's going to be better because this is an 85 dB efficient speaker. Problem is not everybody like ranks their efficiency equally. So Kef, for example, Kef and Klipsch are two great examples of people that oftentimes overstate the efficiency of their speakers. Klipsch is a little bit different because even like if they say they're 96 dB and they're really 90 dB efficient, then that's fine. Kef is another animal though. They'll say they're like 88 dB and they'll be something like 84 dB. And then that thing will drop to like 3.5 ohms at a certain point. So Kef needs a lot of power because I think they lie about their efficiencies. So you can kind of get an idea of what's going to work with what, but you've got to make the assumption that everybody's ranking their efficiency the exact same way and everyone's ranking the power out of their amp the exact same way, because you can have a 100-watt amp, but it could be at 10% total harmonic distortion. So you don't really have 100 watts to work with outside of one bass boom. And then that 100 watts is down the drain because you don't have like sustained 100 watts. But so yeah, that's probably a long and meandering way to answer that question. Ed, happy holidays to you. Thanks for answering. We need a YouTube video for Class AB versus Class D, respect to sound. That's the problem though, because not all Class Ds sound the same. That's why I love this IEMA stuff, because they're like an outlier. And I don't even think they did it on purpose. I think they just got it right by complete happenstance. They just like lucked their way into the TPA 3255 from Texas Instruments. Like, I don't think they set out saying, we're going to design the best sounding Class D. I think they went out and they're like, oh, this amp chip set is available. It's cheap. Let's put that together. And they just, here's the thing about like Chinese manufacturers. Not all, but most know what something, they know what something should look like and they can make it, but they don't always know exactly why they're doing what they're doing, if that makes sense. Some SMSL topping, I think they're pushing, okay, this is what we want things to sound like. But there's a lot of manufacturers out there that'll be like, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this, and we need this, and they just put it together. And sometimes you get lucky, and I think IEMA got really lucky. So yeah. AXA 35 is a Class AB. Yeah. If it was a Class D, like who would make a 25-watt Class D amplifier? Like they're AB. I thought for a second, maybe I doubted myself, but no, one of the selling points of the AXA 35 is that it has a really nice toroid, and it's the design inside is very well done too. I think it's a chip amp though, but it's not a Class AB. So chip just controls like the biasing and things like that. So it's the power is not, the chip is not providing the power, if that makes sense. The chip is just controlling. So the AXA 35 is a chip amp. It's not a Class D amp. We might call it. We've been going for an hour and 4 minutes. Yeah, we're going to call it. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas, a nice holiday, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. I hope you're having a good end of the year. More to come. more content to come. So appreciate y'all being here, kind of a last minute Wednesday live stream. And I want you to have a great rest of your week. Be safe. Enjoy. Simon, good to see you. Happy New Year to you. And I'll see you next Wednesday on a live. And then I'll have some videos in between them. So y'all, thank you so much for all the well wishes and all the generous super chats for going over 150,000 subs. So love y'all. Love you.